You are listening to the voices of the... Wait, did you take the wrong turn? This is AmeLynn's Corner of Chaos. Are you sure you're prepared? Either way, welcome. Hello and welcome to today's episode of AmeLynn's Corner of Chaos. Hi, Amelie.
Hello, Lynn.
Hi. Today we've got something special for you. We were watching the Disney Plus show Battles of Fate, and we wanted to talk about that. It's quite exciting. I think I saw it just randomly on Disney. I hadn't used Disney like in ages, and then I saw it and I was like, "What is this?" And then it presents as this South Korean kind of game show, like with contestants, and it's with fate readers, shamans, and astrological readers, and so on and so on, and they have to battle against each other in a sense. And I just saw this as like tarot readers as well. What? I need to see this. This could be really good. It could be really bad. How are they going to pull it off? Like, I think this is like a show that people wouldn't pull off in the West at all, I think. So I thought, yeah, super intriguing. Then I told everybody you have to watch it. And here we are. So we have seen 5 episodes.
And I was like, oh my God, this sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And it is so great. I mean, well, I think it's really great. Like, I was really impressed, like in the first episode already, like with all the contestants. There are 49. And, actually, side note here, because I thought 49 there has to be some significance. And I didn't know it. So I had to look it up. And the significance is that 49 is 7 times 7. And 7 times 7 is like the death or rebirth cycle, like in Southeast Asia. So like when you die, or when somebody in your family dies, then you do a cycle of 7 times 7 days where you like venerate them and give them offerings to help them pass on into the next life. So that is a 7 times 7 cycle, 49. So it's like, ooh, I did not know this. Yeah,
Interesting. That's really interesting, actually. I didn't think about it because I forgot how many there were from the beginning, but they were just coming out of the door.
No, I was like, oh, why is it 49? So I started asking questions. There must be a reason, and then I found a reason. No, but this first episode's really cool, yeah.
At first I thought, like, what kind of show is this? Because I remember back in the day, they used to have, I don't know if it was a UK show, I'm sure they had it in America as well. They used to have these shows where like mediums they were testing them.
Right.
So they kind of like put them on the stage and then, they were testing them with like, how many fingers do I hold behind my, like just stupid things like this. And it was almost a little bit like ridiculing them rather than like testing them. It was like really stupid things. Like, why would a medium want to know how many fingers you have behind your back, or like very like silly things. But I think it was an old show, like I think early 90s or so. These shows did exist. So like, is it something like this? But then it was a battle, and it's anything like this. If anyone thinks that it could be something like this, it's really not.
No,
This is
it's more, it's like they take it serious, like over there, and this is like really where the difference is, because the culture in Southeast Asia is still very very much alive. They still have their traditional shamans that are respected. I mean, I guess like everywhere there's gonna be people who are skeptical, and there's gonna be people who don't believe in it. But like a majority, or like a big part of the people do still use fate readers, so like shamans, tarot readers, and they do take it quite seriously, the people who do. So it's like you already start more like you coming in with an angle of like respect and not ridicule, even though like maybe skepticism. I mean, one of those testers, or reapers of fate as they call them in the beginning, she's also like, I'm a skeptic, I don't believe in what you do, is the first thing she says. But then stuff happens and she's just like, whoop.
Yeah.
But I found it really impressive, like what kind of people they invited, and they're having like traditions that I didn't even know existed. They make sense, they exist, but I didn't know. Like, I mean, here we have like we know like with the gypsies, they do palm readings, for example. But then over there, then they had like a foot reader. So I did the same with like feet lines. It makes sense, but it never occurred to me. Then another person who's like a face reader, and he's like, yeah, I just have to see somebody's face and then I know their fate. And I'm like, it's really interesting. Also like the astrology, I've never looked into that kind of like Asian astrology, and I'm really intrigued by now. Like they call it Saju in South Korean or in Korean. And they take in like all the elements that we don't do that, and also the direction, like the wind directions and everything. So it's different than our type astrology, and quite impressive as well.
Yeah, it seems to be like so much more in depth.
Mm.
And what I really liked is that everyone has like some of them are very traditional. So it's like the
Mm.
shamans and not
Mm.
just the shamans, but they just very traditional, and some of them are just very modern, which I really
Yes.
love. I love the contrast, the fact that we live obviously in a world where just because you're a shaman doesn't mean that you have to be dressed like they did like 5,000 years ago. You
Mm.
can have like a business suit and you
Mm.
can still, have abilities to read.
Mm.
And I think I just really love the fact that it's so accepted. It's accepted
Yeah.
because one of the guys, he actually works for a company and he does the
Mm-hmm.
astrology charts, was it?
Yeah.
For like
Yeah.
for a big company.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if we had that.
I know. I
I
know.
can see that you have this and this and this in your chart. No, 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 you're not going to get promotion.
Yeah, or let's not do a meeting today because today is like bad stars or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah. I found like the entrance of everybody so, so cool. Like both, because in the beginning you see mostly like shamans come in and they're like dressed, most of them are dressed traditionally, and that is already like pretty like impressive. But then you also get people who are like look like you and me, or like even like in a suit. This first guy, I think that was the guy that you mentioned, coming in with like a suit and little suitcase, and then the
He
others are
had
like,
this the
he,
Hermes
oh,
bag.
that guy, yeah,
Or
also a
the
guy with the Hermes bag,
there's
yeah. There's a different one. Yeah, it's a different one. But everyone's, I don't think he's a shaman. What does he do? And then he's like, oh yeah, he's a Saju reader. And everyone's like, oh wow. One thing, because I'm a bit familiar with like Japanese shamanism. I didn't know anything going into this about Korean shamanism, and just like watching the first episode and seeing how they treat each other or how they welcome each other was really interesting to me, and also what kind of gadgets they use. Like what I caught, or what I found so interesting is that apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going off from what I saw like from the show, but it seems that for the shaman tradition is that they all have like one or two particular spirits or deities that are attached to them that help them in their practice. And there were some occasions where people, like the other shamans, felt what kind of spirit was attached to a person just by the way they acted. Like there was one guy coming in, and he was wearing like a traditional dress that usually only women wear, and he was also quite effeminate. So, and then here maybe we would clock him as, oh, maybe he's queer or something. But here, like people were like, oh yeah, he has a woman spirit. He is possessed by a woman spirit. And that was just so clear and just so matter of fact that they were just like, oh, yeah, yeah, it's a woman. He's with like a woman. And
yeah.
then these other types, I think they call them fairies, like in Korean. It's not the type fairies we do have here. But they call them fairies, and they're like really childish and exuberant and lots of colors and sparkles, sort of. And then they were like, yes, there's like a child spirit attached to them. And that's why they're so, I'm like, that is so intriguing. And it reminded me of, we have other cultures and traditions that still, or that do, honor that, like that kind of way of like being, not like with not being like a particular gender or whatnot. Like we have the two-spirit people and some indigenous folks as well, where they like, if you're born where you feel like neither female or male, then you have like an extra special place in the community. You're honored and venerated, and only these types of people usually would be like shamans. So that, instead of how we've had to struggle here in Europe, where it's like a sickness or you're deranged or whatever. And there it's more like the opposite. It's just, you have a particular status.
Depends how you use it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Woo.
But I think,
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting
Mm,
the the kind of respect as well. The
mm.
respect people have, it's not straight away like this person is weird. It's more like they're special in some kind of way,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
that kind of like respect, which is definitely appreciated.
Yeah, it's just the fact
Especially
that
when
they
you
weren't
have
there
like
to.
when you're weird yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, but just the fact they weren't there to tear each other down, but everybody was greeted openly and with curiosity, and everybody knew that everybody else was like highly skilled. And I know nothing about, or very little, nothing about like Korean, people either. But some people came in and they were famous, and there was like one shaman that everybody knew. He reads, he's a shaman for a lot of like VIPs and probably K-pop idols and whatnot and actors in Korea. So it was really famous. And other shamans there who are famous because they've been shamans since they were children and predicted really big things. I have no relation to, so I don't know. But there were a lot of really well-known people there.
I like the kind of admiration some of them had for each
Mm,
other.
mm.
It wasn't like they're trying to read them or judge them. It was more like, "Oh, so good at this. Wow." Like, "Oh,
Yeah,
how did you do this?" It was very
yeah.
much so like this, I like the
Camaraderie more like.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Except the one that I remember, the face reader, when they were still coming in, and then somebody stood next to him, and he was like, I think it was a shaman extra or something. He was like, "You have problems with your kidneys, don't you?" And then she was like, "Oh, how did you know?" I was like, "It's in your face." It's just unasked for. He just read her. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to get it out.
Yeah. No, it's a good great mix. There's also like some older. There's young people. There's old people. There's also one who says that she reads face just by the name of somebody, and it was just her. There's just a single one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got to speak up. But yeah, anyway, like yeah. So I mean, going into this, I didn't know how they would pull it off or like how they would do it. But I do like the system. It's like they come with a question, and we have like 4 judges, and they know the truth. They have like a book where all the things, the answers are, not all of the answers, but most of the answers are written, and they will then judge the answers that they get, and then they will say who wins the round. But it's like we have like in the beginning these 49 people, and then we get the first problem, so to speak. And then if you want to present your answer, you can click a button, and the first 7 get a chance to present. And then the best one gets to advance to the next round. And they were going to cut half of them. So only 20 would like go into the next round. So that's kind of how they set it up.
It was
And then
quite
obviously
brutal.
quite brutally. But
Yeah.
there's tarot readers there, right? And then obviously, I mean, both you and me, we were like independently, I think. But I mean, because I watched the first episodes first, and I think you did it later a little bit. But I think we both independently were like, we're gonna get our cards. We're gonna try and do this and play along and see whether we also can get answers. So this is like a little bit of what we're going to talk about, not necessarily what we've seen in the show, but how we've experienced it, and review our own results a little bit. That's kind of the extra thing we have. As a tarot reader, it's like we have to do this. And even Luigi said, like, we need a show like this. We need to go on a show like this ourselves. So yeah,
Very
yeah,
interesting.
it was really interesting. Yeah, I don't know, for the first one, there was a question about, we saw a picture of a woman and her I think the dates, she was dead, and then the answer was like, how did she die? Like it went straight there. It was like boom, and you're like, oh, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you there. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna try some of my tools, and I tried to do it in more or less real time, so I didn't stop too much and tried to figure it out. And for me, the first question was actually interesting because the cards that I got, and I had a flyer, and I pulled 3 cards, and I got a flyer as well. And the way that I interpret the cards, I didn't get it. Okay, so obviously major spoilers. If you don't want to get spoiled, you need to watch it first and then watch
Oh yeah,
this.
I didn't even
Because
think of that.
we're gonna spoiler everything with this, because we are gonna
Mm.
talk about that aspect of does it even work, or how would it work, or what the fuck, what did we do? What did we get on our end? Not being there either, because it's a thing, right? I mean, some people get the energy better when they're in the room where things happens, but we also know that like a distant, it also like certain techniques also work on distance. I mean, we read tarot for each other, although there's a distance between, and there's no problem. Or you can also do shamanic journeys for other people while they're not there. Yeah, you can also do reiki while the person's not there, so it works, but doesn't quite work the same way. Anyway, first question. I did not interpret it correct, but the interesting thing is when I knew the answer and looked at the cards, I was like, it's actually in the cards, but I interpret them from the meaning. But if I'd interpreted them from what they looked like the images, it was in the cards. I don't know. How was it for you in the first round? Was it obvious?
Like, I'm trying to. I took photos of the cards that I've got, but I don't remember. I only did it for the 2. You know what? Like I normally just get a hunch first. And when I first saw the picture, I had to pause it because they go between the picture and then obviously to show all these shamans and people doing stuff. So you don't get to see the person in question for a long time. So it gets a little bit tricky. But literally the first thing I thought when I saw her face was mountain. That was the first. And then I looked at the picture and I thought maybe it's just how the picture was positioned. I thought to myself, what is swaying me? Maybe it's the color or something. Maybe something is swaying me just to think about mountain.
I mean, they projected her on a stone, right? So it might be,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, maybe I'm just being swayed. So I thought, let's just be open-minded. How did she die? And then I just felt I was like, she can't breathe. She can't breathe. But I was well, obviously she died, so obviously she can't breathe. I was ridiculing myself a little bit. But then I was waiting. It went on, and I just thought to myself, you know what, Amelie? You can't just think, oh, this might be wrong. Don't think about it. So I was stick to this mountain thing. If that was the first thing you're kind of thought about, then just stick with it. And if it's not correct, don't be sad that you didn't get it right, because it's just silly. You might not get it right. So I stuck by that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, for me
cards
it's
did you
just to
get for
play.
her?
Yeah, for me it was just playing. So
Yeah.
I had a flyer. I was just trying to get them here so we have some visual cue as well. But obviously I don't find the last one. So I had a flyer first, and the flyer was the 4 of discs, and I used the Thoth deck, so just that's important. So I
Yeah,
used
so
the
did
Thoth
I.
deck for this. Yeah. And then later realized that maybe the Smith would be easier because it's actually pictures and stuff, because it went more with pictures, I think, in general, what I'm seeing and not what I know about the card in that. But anyways, I had the 4 of discs. I had the 2 of discs, the Knight of Wands, and the 8 of Wands for the other cards. And then, I put my interpretation according to, oh, there we go, according to that. But then when the reveal came, I was just staring at the cards, and then it all made sense. Because the thing is that she fell off a mountain. She was climbing. She was an athlete, or she used to be an athlete. She was climbing, and then she fell off a cliff. She was climbing alone, and they found her later at some point. And the thing is that, I mean, not necessarily, I mean, also in this one, but the 2 of discs that I got, in some other decks that I have, they're very much about balance, like a balance act. I mean, even in this one, it's like this equilibrium. And another deck I'm using very often is actually Guy balancing on the tip of something, and it goes about that. So balance or losing balance. When you look at the Knight of Wands, it's very slopey, and it's very it's very easy to slide off that horse. I was I was like, and then the 8 of Wands, that's all about something that happens really fast, right? And then the 4 of Discs, I was going for too much to like, it's something with 4, like a car or something, I don't know. But the 4 of Discs is from a bird's perspective. So, I mean, obviously I could just, this is very like me just pulling, at straws in a way. But I was just looking at it, and then I was like, okay, but maybe I could have interpreted like that as well. Because here's bird's perspective. You're really, really far up on this one, if it's your own perspective. Yeah. And then you add to that you lose balance and you slide fast as well, because the 9 of Wands is really fast. And the swiftness in that. So I was like, interesting. I would never have like interpreted out of the cards, but I could kind of re-engineer it. And that gave me another angle of how to read the cards even. Like, it's like, that's interesting. Be more, think a bit outside the box.
Yeah, I did too. And like you said, it's nice to have the Smith deck because it has the depictions. But what I like about the Thoth deck is that it's not just people. Because my brain like goes to like, so I had this mountain thing in my head because I was like, Amelie, you stick with that because that was the first thing that was on my mind. So I got the Princess of Wands, Ace of Discs, and then Knight of Cups. And then underneath I had 8 of Swords. That's why like the 8 of Swords, when I looked underneath, I was like, the breath thing, I was like, it's just obstruction, like a breathing obstruction. Then it felt like, it felt almost like, what's it called? Claustrophobic. And then I was like, but she's on the mountain, like, why would she be claustrophobic? And I was like, Amelie, just go with it, don't overthink it. So because of on this card, it's just like you
it's
said,
also very slidey.
with a knight,
yeah.
it's slidey. And I was
same,
like, okay, she's sliding down. It's just basically it's like pictures, no
but
matter
also the
what
tiger,
element it is.
Yeah, you could also see the tiger has around the neck and is dragging her down. It's like a bigger force, pulling her down. Yeah.
Yes, and also the
Now,
princess.
imagine if it had been the year of the tiger. I don't remember what year it was, but imagine it had been the year of the tiger or something as well, or the month of the tiger, because that's like in. Oh, I don't remember. I didn't note down when she died. I think it was 92. I'm not entirely sure, and I think it was one of the first months. But the tiger month, I think, is April-ish, so probably not that. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not that. Maybe.
No, but that would have been like,
woo! That would be mad. Yeah, that's so true. That would be mad. Yeah, I kind of like, because what did I say? Yes, the princesses are also like the element of earth, as in like earth.
Yes.
And then I've got the Ace of Discs, and it was like, this kind of looks to me like a hole. I'm like, this is like a hole from the tops. If you're sliding down, because I had mountain in my head, I'm like, this is a mountain. She's sliding down. This is what she sees. And then I had obviously this obstruction, like she can't breathe. There's something that's stopping her breath. But then also I got the Knight of Cups as well. And when I saw this one, I was like, this could be the person that was either with her, that was like, oh my God, trying to get her, or I thought, or is the person that found her because of the cup that is in his hand. But then I was thinking to myself, like, was she married? Was she there with a husband? Was it a husband? Was it not? That was a little bit like, I just didn't give myself time to overthink it because I just wanted to know the answer. So that was my.
Yeah. And in your cards, you got a bunch of wings as well. So you could think that she was flying without being able to fly. Like the ace, he's got wings, but the Ace of Discs also has the green wings.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
The
yes, very
wings.
true.
Yeah. There's a lot of
there's
the money
different
wings.
types of wings.
Yeah.
No matter how you kind of.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe this was the angel that took her away when she died.
Maybe. The spirit.
The spirit.
The spirit of the mountain.
The handsome knight of cups.
I know,
the
so
knight in the shining armor.
Yes, exactly. So I didn't get it. I didn't get the first. I got some others, so that was actually quite good. I got some others. Didn't get the first one, but it was really. Uh, it gave the whole thing an entire different spin to actually sit there and try and figure it out yourself and just being like passive and see what the others are doing. But I mean, that is so impressive to see everybody work. I mean, the Sacho readers, you know, the laptops and putting in the birth date and everything, the death date, and the shamans. They have like, I mean, the traditional ones with the fan and the bells, and it's just going like cling, 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 because they get they believe like the spirits come with sound and with wind, so they're calling them with the bells and then getting the wind, you know, from the fan to get a different state. And I was so, I mean, just imagining being in that place with like, I don't know, was it maybe 10 or so shamans in there? Or I don't know, I don't remember, but maybe 10, 12 or so, don't know. And everybody's just jingling the bells at the same time. You never see that. You don't normally have a gathering of that many readers in one room. I mean, that is packed of energy. And then everybody's just like ding, ding, ding. And the fans, I would be like, ooh, that'd be so intense. I really, really, yeah,
I think someone even
amazing.
say like, "Oh, it's so noisy," so it was difficult for
Mm,
them to kind of focus. But then
mm.
someone also said, "I don't care. I just shut it out and like I'm just
Yeah.
focusing on what I'm
There was the
doing."
child spirit one, the I don't remember her name, but the one in the green one with the like round face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, her. She said like when for her it's like a noise cancelling when she hears the bells. So she's a shaman herself, so she does the bells, and then at once she hears it, it's just like everything else goes away. And it was one of the Fate Reapers. So the commentators I think said that it's very loud and you can't concentrate, but they were also very like it looked like the fete was very intense as well.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, it would be so cool to be in there. And also like the stage as well.
That was
The
amazing. Yeah.
way it looked, absolutely
There's
amazing.
water, yeah, so they have the kind of like a spiral path in a sense with all these spots where they're standing or then later sitting. And in the middle, like this gigantic moon that have hung up and water running. I was like, yeah, very, very. They did a
Yeah,
really good job with that. To make
absolutely.
the scenery. With the second question, I didn't really know how to tackle that because that was like we had 5 people presented, and 2 of them were real shamans, and they're all posed as shamans, but only 2 of them were real, and they had to figure out who were the real ones. And then all the shamans in the room were like, "Oh, this is easy because we can see it. We just have to look at somebody and we can see." And I mean, the show is because the people are so accurate in what they're really fast and really accurate. It's like, it's really, really, really cool. But we're not really talking about that. We're talking more about us. How not accurate we were. But I didn't like in the second, okay, so you have 5 people and you have such limited time because I didn't stop it. I mean, I could have stopped it, you know, and just really taken my time and I could have used other tools. But I wanted to challenge myself to just use very little time and see what I would get. And so I didn't, they get 10 minutes and obviously that is cut out in the show. I didn't even allow myself 10 minutes. So maybe I would have gotten it with that. But here it really just put 1 card per person. And I was like, what can I see out of just 1 card? And can I see like a system, you know? And the interesting thing is there was a system. I just also again failed to see it. So because I had like, first I looked at the cards themselves and to see, okay, like if I had, for example, gotten the high priestess, you know, then I'd be like, this is a shaman, you know,
Yeah.
or anything, or the magician, you know, then I'd be like, okay, this is the shaman. But I didn't get them, or even the Queen of Wands, because I connected to very witchy energy. So I'd be like, she would be a shaman. But I didn't get that. I didn't get any wands whatsoever. I got a 1 court card, which was the Queen of Swords, and I got 2 majors and 2 minors. So my brain went like, it's probably maybe like then the majors or something. Or, you know, I had 2 swords, right? So I was like, oh, maybe it's the swords cards. And I knew what it was. It was the 2 people who had the minors. That was the shamans in the bunch. And I was like, no, it's got to be the mages. If I got, what was it? I got the devil and I got the power, I think.
Do
Yeah.
you remember? Do you remember which ones were the shamans? Because I didn't write it
Yes.
down.
Yeah. Number 1 and number 3.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. And one of the,
I
yeah.
Because I when I was looking at my cards and what I felt, because I
Mm.
wrote down number 1. because that
Mhm.
that was my guess, but I didn't
Yeah, I
write
also thought
down
one.
the
Yeah.
next one
Yeah.
because the cards I got was 3 of Swords, 2 of Wands,
Hmm.
7 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and the Hierophant. And I
Hmm.
thought to myself, like, if there's some kind of I thought if some kind of, like, algorithm in my cards,
Mhm.
I thought, like, number 1 because I was tried to, like, look at the people, and I was like, number 1 just I could feel, like, number 1
Yeah.
that felt I could
I also
feel that
felt the
there was
one.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
You
also
could
felt
feel
the one. Yeah, I
it's
was
crazy. It was
agreeing
just
on the one.
something with yeah, you could just tell. So maybe we are actually shamans. You can just tell with the number 1. But then I think I got distracted because I thought if there
Mm,
is like a system, then I thought
mm.
maybe it's going to be the swords. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
it
what I
is
thought too. Yeah,
yeah,
because I
exactly.
had the 4 of swords as my first card, and I had the queen of swords as the 5th. So I thought, like, maybe it's the swords, because I was pretty. I had this feeling for them of one, and okay, maybe it's the swords, so maybe it's these. But then, I had the 2 majors, and I was like, but maybe it's the majors. And then in the middle, I had like another. I had the 10 of cups, so I didn't see it, but it was like the 2 that were the minors.
But I was also swayed away by the 5, the 5th one,
Mm-hmm.
because that was why I
The
didn't write down
hierophants.
what I thought, because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, it's either the the swords or because I got the Hierophant. And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
why, like, Hierophant, that would be a shaman. But then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
looking at the people that were there and I
Mm,
couldn't really, like, 100% feel it. So I was like, do I believe in the cards and just go
mm,
for it? Or do I?
mm.
And then I got sick and tired of staring at them because they were like just flickering by. So I was like, okay, number 1, that's my guess. And then
Yeah,
this or that.
yeah.
So it's quite interesting that we both had number 5
Mhm,
as a
mhm.
guess.
Yeah, I found that some of the approach of some of the shamans there was interesting. I think there were more than one saying that they can feel that, because there are 5 people and 2 of them have to pretend not to be shamans and 3 of them have to pretend to be shamans in a sense, right? And they were like saying they can feel that the gods or like the spirits they're like attached to these actual shamans are angry because they're trying to pretend not to be what they are. So they could feel, okay, here are he's an angry that's an angry granny and there's an angry grandpa here. And they're really angry. So these 2 are the shamans. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
interesting because they were like
Mm,
straight away. I think it was on
mm,
this one. Someone said straight away,
yeah. Yeah.
like, that's this
That
one, this
those
one.
2. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it
most of
was
the
like,
shamans could tell. Yeah.
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 So we
But it's
must
also
be
like if
also we like half shamans because we could tell the number 1.
I mean I am one, I'm just not a Korean.
Exactly. No, but I think in these
I
kind of
don't count.
cases, I think in these kind of cases, just like you said with your cards,
Mm,
that it's you get the right thing, but I think that where the training lies, I feel, is to kind of interpret
mm,
them
yeah.
in a way, or like somehow
But
I don't know.
also, yeah, but also for me, the training lies in combining all skills together, which I'm not doing that. Because like I kind of, in some things I do, like some things that are closer, for example, doing tarot cards and runes, for example, it lies close. But I don't do the shamanic work when I do cards, for example. I haven't dared. So, that's something where it's like, I could do it, but I'm not doing it. And then in this case, I was also like, I'm just going to use tools. I'm not going to sit there and go like, I'm going to journey now because I also would need more time, or it'd be a different approach. And my mom said like, you're a shaman. Why don't you do it like they do? And I'm kind of like, because I decided to try with the cards.
We
I
did
could try.
say
It's
we did say
intimidating,
we
though. It
wanted to
would be
have
intimidating.
the fan and the bells. We need fan and
I want the
bells.
fact. Yeah, I really have a pull to the method of like with the air. I can feel that. I think that's something that I would really work with. Yeah, I want that
Yeah,
for my
I
practice.
really like I do understand this whole, like, the sound because it has a certain vibration to it. So I can completely understand this.
Yeah, I
And,
mean,
like,
we
in
use the drums,
seances
Yeah,
yeah,
we use
that oh,
drums
yeah,
traditionally. You also have the
that's true.
vibration and the sound, so that's what the sound we use. But I understand. I mean, it's a bit easier to carry just small little bells. But I'm
Yeah, and
attuned to the
also,
sound of
like,
the drum.
with the when you sounding runes as well. it's also
Mm,
different vibrations for each rune. So
mm,
to me, that
mm,
it makes total sense. It's not crazy at all. While I think
mm.
maybe a lot of people would be like, Why would you walk around with bells?" But I also thought, I don't know if I'm right, but I think when you do like seances, like let's say
Mm,
like 100 years ago when they were doing seances,
mm,
they also had
mm.
like a bell
Yeah, they did
for
a
like
spirit
with it.
bell.
There's like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
spirit,
That a spirit
so
bell. Yeah.
it makes sense. Total
Yeah.
sense.
I think sound has been used almost always in different ways, with like
Yeah,
in
I mean
connection
in
to
Egypt as
spirits or
well, and music and yeah.
what did they use in Egypt?
I mean, the frequency and sound in
Oh.
general
Mm, mm,
in
mm,
music and of singing and like tuning
mm,
forks and things like
mm,
that.
mm.
So it's just like a part. I think it's just a part of every single
Yeah. I mean,
culture. Like,
they understand without understand. I mean, now like science understands rabbit hole. Science
yeah,
understands with sound and vibration patterns, and that sound changes, what it touches. And you can see that in water, and you can argue that we're like, what is it, 60% water? Or was it 80, 60%? But we are
60.
so much water. Yeah, I think it's 60. We are so much water. It makes sense that any vibration of sound would influence us directly. But that was also thinking because if you go on an atomic level, there's each of our atoms, there's more space than there's actual matter. So, and the space would also be influenced because, like, the air and everything is also be influenced by vibration patterns. So it's really makes so much sense, and we have to have an episode about music. I think we will, but it makes sense that certain music just triggers people, or sounds trigger people into different things, positive things, not so positive things, but also like for a spiritual way that you just like go into a different frequency and connect with the otherworldly stuff. That's really,
Yes.
really, it's really intriguing and yeah, interesting. Well, Battle of Fates. Actually, let's go back into it. About like the next question they had. There was a question. They brought 4 men out, and then they asked which of those men, one of them had been struck by lightning, and one of them had been struck by luck. He won the lottery. So they said windfall and bolt out of the blue, I think was the words they used. And I don't know how that was in Korean. And then that we had to pick out, or people had to pick out who was who. Did you get any of that right? Or how was that? Do you remember?
I got number 4.
Uh-huh.
This is another one that I didn't. I'd only put the one because I wasn't really sure if that was the
Mm,
guy that was struck by lightning or if it
mm,
was the guy that won.
mm,
I couldn't decide really, but
mm,
I felt like number 4 was one of them.
mm.
But then I didn't make any more notes because I'm silly like that.
Yeah.
I just couldn't
Okay, so
decide, basically. I don't remember which
yeah.
ones there were.
So for me, it was that my intuition that I had in the beginning was right, and then I got misled by how I read the cards because I saw the people because it was just me seeing the people, and I saw the people, and I thought the 4th is the guy who got struck by lightning. And that was true. But for the cards that I got, that wasn't so obvious. But the cards weren't obvious in general. And that was, I think, one of the first times I was like, I should use the Smith deck because that was really difficult. Because if I'd gotten the Tower, I'd be like, okay, that's a lightning person. If I'd gotten like the Knight of Wands, for example, the Lord of Lightning and Fire, yes. But I did not. The cards were like, no, we're just going to make it more complicated for you. Or no, wait, I did get the Knight of Wands. That's why I was misled. Yeah, but I didn't get the Tower. It's just not with the Thoth deck, you just have like the energy, and it's like, but I took 3 cards for each person. So that was also maybe, it might have been a mistake. I don't know, that it was too much information. But I don't know.
I just did 1 card for each person,
Yeah.
but I went with, like, number 4 was my first kind of intuition that
Yeah,
he
it
was
was my
one of
intuition.
them. And it's like you say, I find it like when reading, if something just comes to you
Mm,
and you just have a hunch that that's the case, and then you do the cards, and the
mm,
cards kind of sway you away from that a little bit.
Mm,
You start questioning yourself just because the cards look different.
mm,
I don't like when that happens because
mm.
it's almost like you doubt yourself and then you believe in the cards instead,
Yeah.
which you should always believe yourself first and then maybe look at the cards and think, where would that fit in that situation instead of getting swayed? I
But
don't
again,
know.
like,
It's like,
yeah, but in retrospect, also like when they revealed who it was and when they actually talked about themselves a bit, there were things that aligned with the cards and the things that they said. For example, again, but that was not really related to lottery or being struck by lightning. Like for example, the lottery guy, he said that he dreamt of being stabbed in the neck the night before, and I had a swords card. I had this, I mean, it was the Seven of Swords, but I had a swords card with like all the, I like, this is not somebody who wins the lottery if you have swords necessarily. But then he talks about being stabbed the night before. I'm like, I
but
did
they
not
say
see
that it
that.
was normal to dream something like that
Yes,
before
dream
you actually
strange
win the
things.
lottery. I
Yeah,
dream
apparently.
strange things every single night, and I just don't win the lottery. What's wrong?
You're in the wrong kind of culture, Amelie. This
Oh, I need
is,
to go to Korea.
you gotta go
No,
to
actually, it
Asia
wouldn't
for
be
that
too
kind of
bad.
stuff.
I'll gladly go to Korea for a while.
South Korea, anyway.
South Korea, yeah. I actually have a friend that went to North Korea. Different
Wow.
episode.
Oh yeah, different episode. Let's go there at some point. Yeah. No, that was interesting, but yeah. And then we had some crazy questions. I was also like, how do you do that with cards and with the feet? Like here we present you some feet. And most of the contestants are also like, how do we do that? And then a few foot readers were like, we got this. So there was like, I should use Smith. Yeah. But what I found interesting is when they got to the question of where we had to guess the profession of somebody, because then we got pretty intense cards, both of us. And that's when we actually watched the episode together and did it simultaneously. And in my cards, bless me, I cannot actually decipher my own handwriting for one of the cards. But I had the devil and I had the Knight of Cups and I had the Aeon and something else that I can't decipher. So I went straight into there's some sort of drug addiction, some sort of, something there. And you also, I think, had that, and we went into like, yeah, maybe, something with drugs or doping, or there's something there. And
Yes, because I got the
also the
devil
physical,
under the deck.
yeah. You had it under the deck, yeah. And then we also
Yeah.
went into the physical, like you said, like maybe military. I felt like maybe some police or something. Like we had some authority or something physical, in authority or strong, or somebody who uses the body. And then they were an athlete. And of course, it said nothing about him having some sort of addiction or doing amphetamines or steroids or whatnot or doping. But we were both like, according to the cards, there's
He was
something.
just very muscly and he just looked very suspicious.
Yes. So that was like, I trusted that. So yeah, that was the discipline and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah, but also like with the Aeon, because I think there was something about him actually going abroad and like changing his life or changing his career and his path. So it's also like that was actually also quite spot on with that big
Yeah.
change or
Yeah,
calling
we
to
did.
something else. Yeah.
You're right. We did talk about that because
Mm.
he needed to change the career. Oh, I don't remember now. We were saying that he needed to change the career because obviously he can't be a sports person forever.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that was
Yeah, it
really
was.
cool. I was like pretty, yeah, we are very convinced with that.
We were very spot on.
We know there's something they
I
didn't
still
say.
think that we were right. Is they
Yeah, yeah,
just
no, no,
don't say.
absolutely. No, they wouldn't. You can't say that officially. If you're still an
Oh.
athlete, you can't like call them out for doping. That would not be nice. And then the second one, they did 2 rounds of that. And then that was not as clear to me, but I got this. What I got was that person was very passionate and did what she liked doing. Like I got the 3 of Wands, so I had all like this passion and fire that spurs her on to follow like her path and do something with it. And I got the 9 of Cups, so that whatever she's doing is truly making her happy. But with that, I had the 4 of Discs and the Prince of Swords. So I thought that she's probably somebody who's like kind of, you are using her mind very well and is maybe a little bit not afraid. I mean, not afraid of conflict, but somebody who's maybe maybe pushing her own way more than, like she's her own kind of person. And I mean, even the fourth disc that she's doing her thing, she's creating her own thing. Then she ended up being like a very famous DJ on her own. And yeah, she's basically a self-made woman and being abroad and doing like a DJ thing. So definitely the Three of Wands and the Nine of Cups, they were spot on. And I feel also like the Prince of Swords probably fits with her personality, but didn't have so much to do with her job, I think. Although, if you're really abstract, and if you're thinking like classic DJs and we have princes with the wheels and then the DJs.
Oh, yeah.
And also the Four of Discs, also, the disc,
Yeah.
But the modern DJs aren't DJs, they're MCs, right? So they don't really.
Yeah,
But they
that's
also
true.
have
It's more
all
about
these. You still tune, you still have all your knobs and round thingies, so you still do that. So
yeah, I mean, for
it's in the
her,
picture.
I also felt like she was like a strong character, and that she was kind of like not budging what what she wants to do. But I also had this feeling of like there was not really a work life balance, almost like she was working a lot, like there was this balance was a bit off. And then I also got the first card that came out was the Tower, and I was like, there's something has happened that she had to either, I don't know, change course or do something. And then they said that she had this uh the hairdresser
Yes, the
burnt her
bleaching accident.
hair,
Yes.
and she was wearing a wig because they
Yeah.
burnt her hair and it was growing out. And I was like, okay, well, there we go.
But
That's it.
also, if we just look at the picture of, if you use the thoth for it, like I'm just thinking the thoth, but also the tower, you also, if you're a DJ or an MC, you're higher up and you're doing with all this electricity.
You're the eye.
You're the eye, but also doing all this electricity stuff and having people dance under you or fall or whatnot. So the whole picture is also like, I can see that being a DJ.
Yeah, that's true.
Also in the night, all the laser beams, pew, pew, pew. So, yeah.
Yes, that's very
The
true.
image. Yeah, even the image.
We were just so spot on again. We're just so good.
Yeah, well, the thing with these two was that you didn't actually see the person. Like, I don't remember how they presented them now anymore, but you didn't see the person at first at all. You saw like afterward, like they revealed bits by bit, so you suddenly could see like there was like an athlete's boxer shorts or something, or you saw her fancy outfit a bit, but you didn't actually see the person while you were reading. You were just going off of, I don't know what we were going off on. They did say something. Maybe I don't remember what they showed us. Yeah, I don't remember what they showed us.
I think they probably showed us like their dates,
birth dates and something.
'Cause that's
Oh
normally
no,
what
no! They showed us the pictures of them as a child.
With the children, yes,
Yeah,
of course.
they showed us the pictures of the children, and then it was like, what are they doing now? And it's like, okay, let's lead into this. I don't know.
That's it.
And then when they first revealed how they got older, so several pictures, and then they showed you pictures of the actual behind the scenes, how they were sitting and waiting. Yeah. So yeah. That was off of the pictures of kids, and you're like, what? I don't know, little cute Asian kids. And I don't know. Let's go. But it was really cool because it was pretty spot on, or it wasn't completely off anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next one was very interesting. You got very spot on, and I got some of that. But it was we were shown a person, and the question was, he had major surgeries in 2 places in his body, and we were supposed to guess that. And the thing is that one of them you could kind of see if you knew, I guess. Like you saw it, and I was like, that looks like somebody who had like a fat reduction surgery, like it kind of the shape of his body looked like that. But still, I was okay, I'm just going to lean into the cards and see what the cards show. And that was interesting because I had, well, my major card was the Empress. Again, I used the Thoth here. And as the Empress, I have like a very strong, if you were thinking now, like something with body, physical things or sicknesses, I'm very drawn to both like that. Her like showing or like having a hand in front of a heart. Also her being like motherly, nurturing, you know. So I was like immediately on the heart thing. And then this image with the pelican mother giving blood to her children. So there's blood circulation, heart something. I went immediately into that, which I think was not completely correct. But some of the shamans also said heart. And then they revealed later that in his family is like a history of heart issues. So that was kind of interesting. And then I got the Prince of Discs, again, something with discs. And I got the Seven of Wands, which on the Thoth, where you have the one wand, which is like shattered in the middle. So I thought like something spinal cords or something ruptured or something breaking. And that was actually the cervical discs. He broke them or something, and he had to have surgery on that. So again, I had like the discs and some breaking. So it, and you were also spot on with the gastrectomy. You felt that, right?
Yeah.
But I don't remember
Yeah.
what cards you had.
That was like, I don't know, because I was so analyzing him.
Mm-hmm.
I did pull cards, but when I pulled the cards, I was like, I couldn't like feel I
Mm.
couldn't feel what the card said. I just felt
Mm.
like this guy had a surgery, and I think like the initial was like the gastro, and then I thought
Mm.
maybe I'm just judging,
Mm.
but it felt like he could have been. But then I thought while he was in surgery, there was something that went wrong, so they had to like operate on him like at the same time. It wasn't like
Mm.
it felt like it wasn't like two separate surgeries. It felt like it was
Mm.
at the same time.
Mm.
But the cards I got was Five of Swords. I also got the Fool, which really
Mm.
kind of threw me off. I was like,
Mm.
what's the Fool? Almost like, did he
Well,
do something foolish? And then,
he
shit, I need to have
binge
surgery.
eating.
Binge eating. He was a mukbang
Mm.
celebrity,
Mm.
maybe.
Mm.
And then he just had to basically go in because of some kind of, I don't think he was like, I'm going to do a bypass. Is it bypass or gastro thing? I feel like he had
Mm.
to do it. He
Mm.
had to do it because
Mm.
something went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. They
But the
didn't
cards
reveal
didn't
that.
help me. I just went
Yeah.
with my mind. I just like was looking at this
Yeah.
guy because it just, I don't know. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't.
Yeah. The next one was really interesting. That was like one of those love readings they presented, where they presented to people, and then they were like, "These are exes. Do they have a chance of getting back together?" And then like the tarot readers, they were like, "This is my specialty," and it's like, that's juicy. And yeah, we were, I think, both pretty spot on that. So I was like, it's like for her, so like no, like I saw that for her, she's a very passionate person, but she's like worried about the like, she doesn't want, like I saw for both kind of more like negative no cards, like they don't want to get back together, but I saw it like more for him maybe, but yeah, not really. But it was more like, no, this is a no. And somehow that he's not been very successful financially, and you agreed on that. You were like also like he's not bringing in the money that for like a relationship. And yeah, and then we landed on that he might want to go back together with her, but she does not. And that was the answer we were presented with. She did not, and he does. And
Yeah.
then and then I talked a bit more about it, so there were some extras and some extra information and stuff, but
I felt when I did the cards for this, I got I got Queen of Wands, Death, Lovers.
mhm.
And the first thing I thought, like, she's a woman that has like not temper, but she doesn't want to It felt like he was more, like, old-fashioned, and
Mm,
she kind of wanted to do her thing because she
mm,
had, like, she was more charismatic, or she had a certain personality, and I thought to myself, they kind of like we said, I think he would probably want her back, but there are major, major changes that he has to do in
mm.
order to impress her. It's almost like he has to change something quite drastically.
I got the death
And
card for him as well. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
death card. And then under the deck, I got the Knight of Pentacles. That's why I was
Mm,
like, he needs to show her and like bring in the money, because almost like maybe she was born into a wealthier family. It almost
mm,
felt like she was used to having certain standard of life that
mm,
he could not really provide her.
mm,
It wasn't necessarily like they didn't like each other. It was something that he could not provide for her, that she
mm.
needed, or she needed to explore certain things that she was interested in, and I felt like he didn't really like that. Like,
Yeah,
he just didn't really support that, or he couldn't
yeah.
support that.
It wasn't that she went abroad for a while as well to follow something, or there was something
She was
there
like a
as well. Yeah,
miss was it she was like
yeah.
a
She was a pageant queen.
pageants.
Yeah, so she had to leave the place to follow that and stuff. Yeah, that was yeah. But that you were like on fire with those questions.
I was like, no, I was looking at them, I was like, "No, no, no, this
Yeah,
woman." But
yeah.
she did change her mind. She did
They
say,
both, yeah, they both did. It's like, 'cause then she said, like, now that I'm seeing him, I kind of feel like maybe I want to give him another chance. And then I asked him, so now what do you think after seeing her? And then he also changed his mind. He was like, oh, I think I have to take some time and think about it. And I was like, he needs to take a time out. Death card. He needs to think about it. It's the Ace of Swords I got for him. So I'm like,
yeah, yes, yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Transformations. Yeah, yeah, no, that was really cool. Yeah. Then there really was only one more question where we could actually pull the cards because then the show changed tempo. But yeah. But that was with the students again, like you had to pick out people and I showed you there are 5 people and you had to pick out 3 that went to the University of Seoul specifically. And again, that was like I picked out 2 from the cards that I got. It was not like super easy, but I got like with one, I got like the like with one guy, the second I got like the hanged man, like this surrendering to something. I mean, being a student at like a high class university in Korea is not no joke. So the hanged man and the magician, in that combination, I was like, also the Ace of Pentacles is third, but in that combination, like that is probably that's yeah, that sounds right. Or then excluding others where it didn't sound right, right? And then with the third, I was also quite sure. I'm not actually sure whether I went off the cards or just intuited it because I got the World and the King of Wands, I think. So I was like, yeah, that person. The others were just not so strong. And then I leaned a bit towards the other. And there were 3 actually that were the correct answer, but my 2 were in those 3.
I
Yeah.
didn't write down what I got. I
Oh no.
just did not write down, but I remember that the 2 that I chose, one of them had, I think it was 7 of Wands, and the other one had
Hmm.
9 of Wands, because I
Hmm.
kept saying, like, someone has been, like, struggling, they have a lot to do. So it's
Hmm.
almost like they had doing tests, but they
Hmm.
also had another test coming. It was like
Hmm.
ongoing. And I think that was one of the guys, and he said that he went to like 2 different, even like did 2 different
Yeah,
things.
men. Yeah,
It
there were
was like,
several that did like so many. Yeah, they were like all high level educate people. I was like
yeah, it
intense.
just went, give me anxiety just thinking about it.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah, not that world.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but that was kind of that with the tarot things, and then after that, because you watched up to the middle of the show, like to the first 5 episodes, and now the last 2 episodes, that was then phase 2, where where they picked the 20 who had won the first rounds, they now have to face off against each other, and that was so interesting and so intense in a whole different way. Like what I didn't know, but in Korea apparently it's a taboo in a way that you're not supposed to read or journey or read for another shaman, which is not the case over here, like in the West. I mean, that's how we learn here. You travel and you travel for another person, and you should you start training with other shamans or shaman novices or shaman trainees. So you train with other shamans, but there apparently you don't do that, or you're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to read each other. So I felt that was quite mean in a sense, like of the production, that they're forcing them to break a taboo in order to advance. But what was so amazing then, that the people who got matched together, and they could sort of choose each other. It was like one would go on stage and they're like, okay, who wants to challenge me? And then some people would come up and then they could choose one of those people. And out of what we've seen so far, the matches, they were like really good. Like in the first ones, it's just that basically, because the thing that they also said was, because they have like these deities or these spirits, the main spirits, and they might not like each other, or they could be like, it's just like a battle of the gods. So everybody expected battles of the gods. But in the first, and I think also in the second instance, it was like you saw that the deities or that spirits, they were drawn. They said like, you have to go against this or with this person. And then they matched perfectly. In the first one, they respected each other, and they even channeled the other's spirit in some cases, and it went really personal and really deep, and it was very emotional and very beautiful in all cases, the 3 cases that we've seen so far. Yeah.
Yeah, it really felt like their spirits felt like they had something to tell the
Mm,
person.
mm,
So
mm,
it was almost like, was it the second or the third couple when the guy stood up in the white? He
mm.
stood up and he was like,
The
who wants to challenge me? And nobody
Yeah,
wanted to
the
challenge
plum.
him.
Yeah, the young
Oh,
plum
the plum
blossom, I think.
blossom.
I think plum
Yeah.
blossom. Yes, and
Yeah.
everybody was intimidated. Nobody wanted to challenge him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he went back to sit down and another one came up and like, who wants to challenge me? Two of them came up.
Mm,
And then Plum Blossom, you
also.
could just
Mm.
tell,
Yeah, he was like,
he
he
had
had to
to, he was
pull.
cold. So he
Yeah.
kind of like at the very end, he got up there and she was like,
She
I
was also
need,
like, "Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, it's here. Yeah, yeah." It
yeah,
was it
yeah,
was so a sign, and I get that. Like when you work with like a particular entity, and then it's like, and suddenly you work with somebody else who also has a strong entity. Like, I mean, that's how I felt one of the first times we got together with our guardians, because I was
yeah.
like, it's like I was so excited, but then I was like, my guardian, he's kind of a one-man show. So I'm like, I really want to do this, but can we do this? And then it was fun. Like it was quite harmonious in a way. But then when we started to do like, let's try and do cards for each other by reading with our guardians. And the first thing mine was like, I'm nobody's oracle but yours. And I'm like, oh my God, how can we please cooperate? And it worked out. It worked out. We found a way to do it. But it's just this feeling that I understand so well. It's like there's like, nope, I'm not gonna. I'm just, I was like, I got it. I got that. So like when they were like, battle of the gods, I'm like, oh no, I know.
You can
No.
really tell, the struggle that you have
Yeah.
many times because it's almost like there's two of you. There's like the
Mm,
guardian and there's also
mm,
you, the logic you that is kind of
mm,
thinking like logically, like let's say now that you are someone that has to battle someone. So logically
mm,
you would want to
mm.
battle someone that kind of would be easier to battle. So because you want to win, right? So
Yeah, it's
logically
like,
you're
no, we
thinking,
want
oh,
the challenge.
I should actually challenge this person because I want to win. But then there's this battle with your guardian or with your spirit that you have. And they just like, no, 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 you don't
We're
like the
going.
easy way. You have to do it this way. And it's just like this battle that you have to go through. And you can really tell. You can really tell when you look at them. And
Yeah, I love
when
it.
you
It's
have
so,
been
yeah.
in this kind of situation yourself, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what they're
Yep.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
I
but
would love to like watch this with someone that is not into this at
yeah.
all.
Yeah, it'd be
Someone that's
interesting.
yeah, to like I would love to see like how they see them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they think this is weird? Do they think that this
Mm.
is interesting, magical, intriguing, or are they trying to
Yeah.
interpret this in a logical way? I'd
Yeah.
love to know. That
Yeah.
would be so interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. We'll see. We will see. No, it's great. But yeah, I felt it was quite emotional, like, when you're also, like, in this kind of sphere or have, done similar things, I think it hits very different. I got so emotional also in this one, time when one of the shamans was speaking up. It was still in the first round, and suddenly she's like, "I just have to say my gods are furious that we have to limit, like, there's so much information we're getting and we're reading for a person, and there's so much important things for the person that we're getting, and you're limiting us to only two things that we can say. It's really like degrade, la 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 la." So my gods are furious, and I'm just like, it's
Yeah.
like I got like, I got emotional because I'm like, yes, yes, of course, you're not, because of course it's like a show and there's some level of like show business, but then I get that they're actually there. They're having now a customer, like a client basically, in front of them, and then they get all this information, and then they get so much, and then they have to like limit themselves, and then they cannot say like 10 things that maybe this person needs to hear. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like,
I mean, spirits have no time. For them,
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
see this person and they just like, this person needs to know that. They didn't
Mm,
think about, oh, this is a contest or whatever. They just want to do
mm,
whatever they need to do. And
mm,
time, like, what is time? What do you mean 5 minutes? What do you mean two things? It doesn't matter
yeah,
to them. So I
no.
understand but she was so angry. Yeah, you're very right.
Yeah, or not. She wasn't, but her gods, like
No,
her granny, run.
you could
Yeah, like
tell,
they,
you
yeah.
can tell
You could
that she
tell. She was
was,
like,
like, trying to apologize, but
yeah, she was like, I'm sorry. This is just, yes.
she just tried to apologize, but then obviously it came through her, so it was
Mm,
like that anger. She was just so angry,
mm,
but it wasn't like her. It was you
yeah,
could really tell. You could totally tell. But
yeah.
I really like the woman that won the first one,
Mm-hmm.
the one that was just sitting and staring and very quiet. She was just so came off so cold,
Yeah,
and
Selby, I think. Yes, she's like a modern,
yes,
like a Gen Z shaman. So she's not
yeah,
traditional at all. She's like in jeans and and
jeans,
barely any.
shirt, and just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
resting bitch face on point. And I really like, she was very, very strict to the point. She just did not care if she said something slightly rude.
Mm,
It was something that had to be said. She said it,
mm,
and kind of really like the way she replied
mm,
as well, because she was just
mm.
sitting. She doesn't use a lot of tools. She
No.
kind of relies mostly on her intuition, basically.
Yeah, and her
And
spirit, yeah.
yes, and her spirits, and I quite like, like I like it because it's so different.
Mm.
And I like the way she was straightforward, but at the same time, I felt a bit like, "Well, you're a little bit rude now." But
Yeah.
I understood the kind of like you want to come off a little bit intimidating because it kind
Mm,
of intimidates the other person and you get a reaction from them as well. So
mm,
maybe something will come out that needs to come out. And like I quite like I found that intriguing. And
mm.
then when she went, her and the
The
man that
young
had
shaman, yeah.
the woman
The woman
spirit, the
spirit,
grandma,
yes.
he broke her. He
Yeah,
basically broke her, and,
unexpectedly.
exactly, and it was funny because she was kind of almost mocking him, going like, "Oh,
Mm,
you're going to be crying now," and she
mm,
just you know,
Mm,
and he's
mm,
the one that made her cry.
yeah.
And I found it really interesting how she was so closed off and how, because I think I felt so much for her because I'm very similar. I'm not
Mm,
like, like
mm,
super stone cold. I was a little bit like that back in the day, but
mm,
I could see myself in many of the ways that she was. And when she's broke, and I was saying this before as well, I'm like, she's acting like this because she finds talking
mm,
about her own feelings, talking about her own personal life extremely
mm,
difficult. That's
mm.
why I was like, I bet she's an Aquarian. Sorry. You said Scorpio. We have to look up when her birthday is.
Yeah, Scorpio
But I
moon at the
really
very least or something. It's very scar Scorpio in there.
absolutely. I
Mm,
found it really interesting because as soon as he started talking about her dad, and then she was a single mother as well.
mm,
It was as soon as, he started talking about something that was personal to her, she
mm,
found it really difficult to talk about it. She started
mm,
crying,
mm,
and I think that's kind of her way of being stone cold is not because she's being bitchy or rude, it's just she doesn't want her own emotions probably get in the way of reading
mm,
someone else. Because as
mm,
soon as you open up and you start being like empathize, then it gets difficult because like your feelings are kind of in the way. Because she seems to
mm,
be very, very sensitive
mm,
like that, which you probably don't think that she would be because she's so
mm,
stone cold. But it's just always like the opposite.
mm.
And yeah, we're waiting for the next episode to
We're
see
waiting
who
for
wants
them.
it. So we
Yeah.
have not seen those yet.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a really really cool face off between the two because that was really they went in and you were thinking like, okay, this is gonna be a battle. Like the other ones were really like respectful towards each other and stuff, and there from the get go, you're like, these are just like she was rude to him, he was like, so and then they
'Cause he didn't
start.
like her from the start, didn't he say,
Yeah, they
like,
didn't.
her
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
grandma
She's been
spirit?
rude. Yeah, she's been rude to him from the start. She said like rude
Yeah.
shit, like she, that she didn't have, so it,
Oh, and all of
yeah,
that,
little
yeah.
kid, and are you so emotional? Blah. So she's really pushing his buttons, but then he has way more experience than her as well. So you had like 13 years of experience, although he's the youngest there. He's like
He's, like,
18.
18, he's
He's
been a shaman
18.
since 5.
Yeah, and she, I think, was just a few years, like maybe 3, 4, 5 something years as a shaman. So he's a senior in experience, but not in age. And yeah, so it started like really like, oh my God, they're gonna tear each other apart. And these spirits are not, they don't like each other. Like you can see, it's like bam, bam, bam. But the way it turned around and how they just started to crack, like the way that he gently and very politely cracked open where he had to crack open, and then her being able to open up, and then they suddenly started to see common ground and how their lives had been very similar in certain aspects, and then you could see how they just, especially how she was like relieved, and there was just stuff that had to come out. And then she actually asked him advice as well, which previously she would not have done because she's just so proud and so like closed off. And then she broke open, and then she's also asking for advice and also about her daughter. And, she was worried that she would also have to go the same path as her. And he was like, no, she doesn't. And then she was really relieved. And so that was really, really emotional and intense. Very good episodes.
And I
Yeah.
have to say, it's very interesting, specifically with them 2. You think, like, you would go to therapy and have sessions upon sessions upon sessions, but they kind of hashed it out within, like,
Mm.
what, 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah. It's powerful like that.
It's very
Ju-
powerful.
Just go. It's a very good combination to go to both therapy and go to like a shaman or fate reader. They supplement each other.
I've never been to therapy, by the way, so I do not know.
Have you been?
I've been dragged once. It was a
Mm.
very long time ago, but I outsmarted the guy and
Yes, you would.
correctly answered to all the questions correctly. So, like, because
There's
you just know what to say, and I was like, "You're
what to
so
say to
dumb.
trick them.
What you gonna do?" So, therefore, I never been. you know what? I would love to go to therapy to see
Mm,
what they would say or do.
mm.
Maybe it would be very good for me, but I just find, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm very much like her. I'm very much like her because I'll be like, what you gonna do? What
Yeah,
you gonna do for me? Like, come on, you know? And then you have to find the right person. So
you have to find the right
so
person.
yeah, they have to, at least they have to probably push a certain button so you feel like, okay, you get it.
Mm,
Because if it's
yeah,
just on the surface level, or
yeah,
like, I'll just outsmart them. Not
mm,
because I think that I'm so clever, but it's just a game for me.
yeah, yeah.
Because like it's just it's a game.
And if
So
you get the
come
wrong
on.
one, you just sit there for hours and they're not even gonna talk. They just want you to talk. And then you're like, but I want you to help me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, you just like, so what do you want me to tell you? Like what, like it's, I don't know. I
Which
think,
version do you want to see?
yeah, exactly. I don't know. It becomes a game and they have to kind of crack that. So yeah, I don't open up to like about
No.
things to like specifically a stranger and you getting paid for it. Like, no, no, no.
Mm, no,
You
no.
have to be good. Outsmart me. They can't.
Yeah. There's this fantasy, there's this dream, this fantasy of meeting somebody who will just within 5 minutes outsmart. This is like a fantasy.
Maybe I need to meet someone that's very young and has a grandma spirit in them.
Yeah, I mean but that's the other way. Like it's the other one. It's not the therapist then, because you've not been to therapy. Have you been to a shaman? Oh,
No. Where are they
see,
shamans?
yes,
Where
they
where
exactly. Yeah,
That's the thing. But
that's the
the
thing.
thing is, like, I get it.
Mm,
Like, I get that somehow. I don't know how or whatever. Maybe it has something to do with like how my grandma was and my
mm,
old grandgrandma. But that I understand. Yeah. I'd love to try both.
yeah,
That would be
at the same
great.
time.
Where to start
Yeah,
at the same
yeah,
time.
at the same time. All right.
It would be
Wow.
interesting to have a shaman and a therapist battle each other.
Let's do it in the next episode. Oh man. Wow, look at that. We've actually talked a long time about, well,
Yeah.
5 episodes of Battle of Fates. We are really eager to watch more. It's extremely exciting. My own mom as well is she caught the virus. She wants to see all of it, binge it right now. So yeah, we will watch the next episodes as we find time, and then we will do another little episode of our own about it. And
Yeah.
everybody who's listened or who's listening, go and watch it. It's on Disney Plus. And like, subscribe, comment below, buy us a coffee if you like us. We love you. Bloopers.
Very
Ah,
heartfelt,
funny.
Lynn, very heartfelt.
So probably my hedging
She
had to
needs a
go in.
coffee really
I
badly,
need I need
okay?
Oh God, I need to go to bed is what it is. It's late. I work early
Yeah,
tomorrow.
that's true.
Boop, boop. Okay. So, well, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next corner of chaos. Have fun in the rabbit holes in the meantime. Good night.
Good night.
You've been listening to AmeLynn's Corner of Chaos. Well met.